Did you guys say Nirvana? Dude, I love Nirvana. So let's imagine it's a rainy Friday night and you're playing your favorite game with Spotify playing in the background with a random mix. And you hear this great tone from this band you've never heard of. So naturally, you just want to check out more of their music. You end up liking 5 songs out of the last 12 you played. And you go to sleep feeling good that you found new music. And the next day you wake up, you're like, hey, I want to post this music on my social media. And in the first 30 seconds of you posting your post with the music attached to it, you get hit with all type of different. How would that make you feel? Let's talk about it. What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Fred. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm. And with that being said, let's get back into the video. All right, so the first thing we obviously have to understand is what a poser actually is by definition. A poser is usually someone people accuse of faking an identity. Someone who wears certain clothes or listens to certain music or acts a certain way just to fit in or to look cool. Basically, the whole general idea is them saying, you didn't earn this identity, so you don't belong here. And actually, let me do something real quick. You said Nirvana? Oh my god, I love Nirvana, bro. Did you say Nirvana? Dude, I love Nirvana. Did you guys say Nirvana? Dude, I love Nirvana. But here's where it starts to fall apart, because who really keeps count of what's real and what's fake? Because I feel like everybody starts somewhere. Like, really sit there and think about it. No one's born with taste. Nobody spawns in knowing like random underground artists, niche fashion brands, or specific subcultures. You have to learn about all of that. You explore, you copy, you experiment. So if copying is part of learning, and I don't even like to call the word copying, I feel like it's more of you get influenced. Because if someone sees something and they're influenced by it, they're gonna try to replicate it, which technically, by definition, you would be copying. But I digress. If copying is part of learning, then how can someone be fake in the middle of that process? Like, dude, at some point in time, someone you really admire or really respect was just trying stuff out at one point. And this is facts. And we were talking about music earlier ago, so let's talk about music again. Every music scene from underground to mainstream grows because of new people. And how do those new people start? By either listening to what's popular or being put on by their friend. Like, nobody starts as a deep cut expert. And I feel like I can speak from this with experience because, dude, I listen to a lot of different genres of music. I feel like it's not even that it's hard to get into like the super extreme niche. It's just sometimes I just don't enjoy that music. And I feel like people start to think like, oh, if you listen to this band and you don't listen to this band, you're a poser. No, that doesn't even make sense. I just don't like them.
Poser actually is a person who dresses or behaves in a deceptive way that is meant to impress other people.
How do you do, fellow kids?
But the term poser has become so unhinged in the metal scene. You get called a poser for just liking or not liking certain bands, or simply giving your opinion on anything metal related. It becomes a self-defense mechanism comment, a desperate attempt to try and put someone down just to win an argument. Metal elitists have lost sight of the true meaning behind the word poser.
Like, I posted a reel the other day, and I'll put the reel on screen. I was wearing this shirt. First of all, Instagram, the most haters. The most haters. And no cap, dude, I wore this shirt and I did a fit and I was like dressing like my music. The shirt had nothing to do with anything. And this guy types, oh, he doesn't even have the original Nirvana shirt. Bro, I don't care. And then another guy was like, and I'm like, what? Like, how? Like, you know, I'm trying to figure out and understand, like, okay, what would make me a in this specific instance? Really trying to understand how am I being a. That's why I actually came up with the video idea, because I'm like, I actually listen to Nirvana, right? I may not listen to a multitude of their songs, but I enjoy listening to them. I would listen to them by myself. I would listen to them in front of my friends. I would listen to them in front of random people. I think they're getting the wrong definition behind the word poser.
I feel like people are losing what poser actually mean, bruh. Just like when they were talking about being performative. Being a poser is like you're trying to only do something to impress someone. Like you're dressing this way to impress a crowd. That's what a poser is. Now everybody's trying to gatekeep and not let anyone into a scene though. Like there's a difference from, hey, I'm trying to learn what this is, then yeah, I know what that is, and actually I don't. But I'm just trying to impress you in my back of my mind, you know?
And like I was saying, bringing it back to listening to music, everybody listens to a multitude of different genres. And having listened to different genres, they have their favorite default genre. This is their favorite genre of music. They're most likely gonna be an expert in this genre of music. For me personally, I have 3: shoegaze, boom bap, and Midwest emo. Now in these 3 different categories, Midwest emo is probably my favorite. Now if you ever heard Midwest emo, I'll probably play you a snippet if I can, so that'll be right after this. it sounds like someone's dying, right? But I find joy in it. And basically, there are a bunch of different Midwest emo bands. And there are a lot of Midwest emo bands that are super popular that I just don't like. And with that, there are a bunch of fans who obviously love everything about Midwest emo. And from their perspective, looking at me, they're like, oh, you only like camping in Alaska, you only like such and such and such and such, but you don't listen to these bands. You're a poser. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It does not. Music taste evolves. It always changes. It's fluid. So calling somebody a poser for being at a different stage in their journey, that's like gatekeeping growth. And that doesn't even only go for music. Fashion is another world where this word is used heavily. You see someone wearing a certain aesthetic like streetwear, vintage, maybe even designer. And depending on the piece, a lot of people are probably gonna say, oh wait, you're a poser. But I feel like if you're really into fashion, know history behind fashion and how fashion works, you would know and understand fashion is built on influence. Like for example, the trench coats used in the early world wars of America had a super heavy influence on Burberry trench coats. But nobody calls Burberry's posers. Why? In my opinion, I think it's the same exact thing. They saw something, got influenced by it, and technically just copied it. Every trend, every silhouette, every era, it all comes from people borrowing, copying, being that's how style literally evolved, bro. An example of this could be like the different styles of rock. You have punk rock, alternative rock, you have regular rock, indies, you have chill rock. Like it's so many subcategories of different styles, different niches that just like differ from each other in small little ways that give them that identity. And I think that's the cool thing. If I am a poser, I'm guessing that's the cool thing about being a poser, dude. Let's say for instance, I did want to get into rock and then I was wearing like band tees and stuff and I'm a poser. My brain works differently from yours. So the style that I have, I'm gonna be like, oh hey, I can add this jacket to this with this t-shirt on, add these jeans with the chain hanging off, take little bits and pieces, start mixing and matching to create my own style. And I feel like it still bothers people to a certain extent because they just don't want to see you with a band tee on if you don't listen to that band. Brother, it's clothes. That's how personal style is formed, by just experimenting and practicing with different clothes from different niches. It just only makes it, that's how you're gonna find it. Calling somebody a poser in fashion is kind of saying something like, hey bro, you're not allowed to explore, bro, you're not established. Bro, what? Nobody wakes up fully developed in an aesthetic, bro. I cannot stress this enough. You go through phases, you try things, you get rid of things, you add things. It's a whole process. So the idea of a poser only exists if you believe there's a fixed line between real and fake. But there isn't. There's people on different journeys, different paths. Some guy might find his swag or his style like 4 years later than I am. Or some guy might find it 8 months ahead of what the guy 4 years behind me is figuring his style out. And I know that's confusing. Stay with me. We're all at different stages. Some people are discovering, some people are refining their style, and some people are fully confident in who they are already. But all of us are a part of the same process. The only time it might be fake is when someone completely disconnects from what they're doing. But even then, that's still a part of figuring it out. So I think instead of labeling people as posers, we just have to understand people are building themselves in real time, in music, in fashion, in their personal identity. Because the truth is, you don't become real by avoiding being fake. And that's a bar. Oh my God, that's a bar. But yeah, guys, so the next time somebody calls you a poser, it doesn't even exist. There are a lot more things I could possibly say. For this topic, I can go on and on and on. I just don't think being a poser is a real thing. Granted, I'm not gonna lie, if you have a skateboard and you don't skateboard, kind of crazy. That's like I think the closest thing to get you called the poser, and it's bad. But if you're into skater core and you're like, oh, hey, I can't skate, but I really enjoy this, wearing skate clothes is fine. You're not a poser, bro. If you start carrying a skateboard around, like I said, you're a poser, but you're not a poser. But you have made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for staying this far in. Appreciate all the love and support. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm. Make sure you check out a video on screen, and just remember, don't be a